Hello and welcome to our time of reflection together in this 5th week of Lent. Perhaps like many of you, I've been continuing to follow the Live Lent book, and this week we have some questions to ponder. We're invited to think about what are described as the 4 big questions that all of us face as human beings. Who are we? What's our identity? What's wrong? What's the solution? And what's the future? Now, I guess that over the centuries, philosophers and sages have spent hours debating and agonising over questions like that. Big questions. And, well, for me, I think perhaps rather too big just at the moment, when simply living one day to the next is probably, in the current circumstances, enough for us. But they are important questions. During Lent, we are invited to reflect and invited to look both outwards and inwards to our own inner being. I know that many of us take on some cause or concern for Lent, try to make a difference in the world around us. We look and see what's wrong. Why is there injustice? Why is there such disparity in wealth? In a world so rich, why do so many go hungry? I have a friend who is walking each day of Lent and being sponsored for water aid. I turn on my tap, think nothing of it. But of course that's not the lived reality for so many people in other parts of the world. So yes, we look outward and see what we can do to make a difference. Perhaps the harder part, though, is to really look inward to ourselves and ask those 4 big questions. Who am I? Well, I'm a human being with doubts and failures and hesitations. And yet, for those of us who have a faith, of course, we know something more. That we are children of God, worthy, not worthless, and loved beyond measure. And when I ask, so what's wrong then? Of course, I think about where I fall short. And for my solution, as a Christian, of course, I look to Jesus. I was wondering, as we move towards Palm Sunday, whether these 4 big questions sat with Jesus as he knew what lay ahead. As he travelled towards Jerusalem, his triumphal entry and all that would unfold that week that changed the world. His identity was secure. The Son of God, the Messiah, the chosen one. He knew what was wrong with the world, and still is. At times Jesus was angry about injustice, or wept when he saw the sorrow of the world. And as Christians, we know that he came as the solution. That ultimately, through his love, he brings us to that new future, new life and new hope. So as we move together now towards Palm Sunday and Holy Week, it will be very different this year. Often we would meet each day or have the opportunity to gather and follow the story together, we will still be doing it together, even though not in person. And as we journey on, we know who we are, loved by God. We look to Jesus, who came to address what was wrong. And we look together to a wonderful future as God's kingdom comes in. Go well this Holy Week.
Beauty for brokenness, hope for despair. Lord, in the suffering, this is our prayer. Bread for the children, justice, joy, peace. Sunrise to sunset, your kingdom increase. Shelter for fragile lives, cure for their ills. Work for the craftsman, trade for their skills. Land for the dispossessed, rights for the weak. Voices to plead the cause of those who can't speak. God of the poor, friend of the weak, give us compassion, we pray. Melt our cold hearts, let tears fall like rain. Come change our love from a spark to a flame. Refuge from cruel wars, havens from fear. Cities for sanctuary, freedoms to share. Peace to the killing fields, scorched earth to green. Christ for the bitterness, his cross for the pain. God of the poor, friend of the weak, give us compassion, we pray. Melt our cold hearts, let tears fall like rain. Come change our love from a spark to a flame. Rest for the ravished earth, oceans and streams, plundered and poisoned, our future, our dreams. Lord, and our madness, carelessness, greed, make us content with the things that we need. God of the poor, friend of the weak, give us compassion, we pray. Melt our cold hearts, let tears fall like rain. Come change our love from a spark to a flame. Lighten our darkness, breathe on this flame, until your justice burns brightly again. Until the nations learn of your ways, seek your salvation and bring you their praise. God of the poor, friend of the weak, give us compassion, we pray. Melt our tears